Let's go.
Hello guys, how are you? That was Criptex against our bad friend Jerry Ball. Happy to have you here, guys. Today we're gonna do the part 2 of the Richard Allen self-inflicted injuries. So let me go with my video material here. So as you know, I'm in Medellin, Colombia for 2 weeks. So we're gonna stream from my city during this week and the next one. So I'm so happy to have you here, guys. Let me say hello to you first. So we have Precosigned. How are you, Precosigned? Good morning to you too. We have windy weather all winter. I finally made a live. I guess I must be on Colombian time. I'm in Colombia right now, as I was telling you, in Medellin, my city, visiting my parents, my family for 2 weeks on vacations. So I have plenty of time to do what I like, which is streaming. So I'm gonna do it maybe every single day. But funny thing, Canada time and Colombian time is the same. So we don't have any difference. So you catch the live, but not because it's a different time zone from Canada. Rucus Rocks, El Jefe, Rico Suave. How are you, Jefe? How's your health? I'm worried, man. The other time you were telling us about some issues. I hope you're doing well, man. Shay Watson made it since the beginning. You're here now to not get distracted. Shay, I'm waiting for the video. Come on, Shay. Shame on you. It's not Shay Watson. It's Shame Watson. You have to send me the video to be able to advance with our project. So, as you said, as you know, guys, I'm working on a project. It's called Criptex Squad. The idea is to give you the space to give you the space to expose any injustice that was committed to you. And if you want to expose or talk about your case, this is your space, guys. So the first episode is going to be with Shay Watson. And but I'm waiting for some material she has to send me. El Jefe Grande. No, Rucus is El Jefe Grande. It's not Criptex. Come on. Okay. Critical Thinker. How are you, Critical? The intro is perfection. Thank you. I made it in maybe 20 minutes this morning, so I know it's not perfect, but it's decent enough for an intro. Sleuths Investigates. How are you, Sleuths Investigates? Happy to have you here. Oh, Mar. Long time no see. I cannot say my favorite moderator because I love Shay, I love Hiawatha. You are even Steven, guys. So the best moderators are here. Even Rukus is a moderator. I didn't realize that. Well deserved. Oh, Joshua is back. So cool. So the other time I was talking to Joshua, he told me that something weird was happening in his Twitter account, in his X account. I don't know, some weird posts that you you were not the one posting. So I don't know. We were worried about you, Josh. What happened to you, man? You cannot disappear like that. Come on. This is a community. We care for our members, let's say. So if you disappear, give us a small, I don't know, notice. I'm not gonna be here for 2 years, guys. I'm gonna be on vacations in Cuba, something like that. But let us know because we were worried, man. RC99 is in the house. How are you, RC? Okay, so let's start with the show today. Yesterday, I was talking about the injuries that were shown, or we were watching the recent discovery material, the exhibits, and there's a very shocking picture of Richard Allen in a very bad shape with some injuries. Here in the elbow, we can see something. We can see the raccoon eyes. The eyes are totally blue. And according to the official narrative from the state, that happened because he hit his head against a wall in his cell. I was a little bit skeptical about that. Now I'm less skeptical after talking to you guys, reading your comments in the video I made yesterday, and I want to try to figure out what is happening here. So when we see the picture of Richard Allen, I cannot see any major damage in his forehead. I cannot see any damage in his nose. So I was skeptical about him hitting a wall so hard, so bad, that his eyes became blue, almost black that way. So to me, that was really weird. So I was speculating that maybe something happened, some type of altercation before that wall hitting event or right after. And maybe he was punched by some guards or some inmates. So I didn't understand well why I was not seeing any damage in his forehead or in his nose. So today I have like two hypotheses. I don't know. One is that actually he has a major injury here in his forehead, but the picture is that blurry that we cannot see anything. I think it's kind of unlikely, but let's say it's one of the possibilities that maybe there's something here that we cannot see because of the quality of the image that was presented to us. Let's say that's one possibility. The other possibility is that he was hitting the wall with the back of his head, so like doing like that. In that case, the injury is going to be at the back of his head, and because of that, we cannot see that injury in the head. So let's play a short video here of talking about why when you have an injury in your skull or in your brain, that is going to be reflected in your eyes, and which would be the situation that happened to Richard Allen, something called raccoon eyes, right? So give me 1 second here. Let's play that video. I'm gonna mute myself for a while. It's gonna be a short clip to try to understand better that situation.
A basilar skull fracture occurs at the base of the skull, behind the face. Within several hours, patients may develop telltale bruising around both eyes, called raccoon's eyes, or behind the ears, called Battle's sign. Basilar skull fractures can cause bleeding in the brain or tearing of the artery that lies across this area.
So that was a short clip of maybe 1 minute explaining that if you have an injury in your skull or in your brain, and your brain is bleeding, that's why you're gonna have the raccoon eyes, right? So if that is the situation, that means that the injury that Richard Allen had was really, really bad. That means that his brain was bleeding. So that's not a joke. And he was put in that solitary confinement because he was supposed to be protected. Now, if we want to go with a conspiracy theory, if the injury happened actually at the back of his head, that could be some type of impact that someone else inflicted to him, maybe to try to punish him, maybe to try to calm him. But I still don't see how he could self harm himself in that way. Again, I don't see any major damage in his face. So to me, the only explanation is that, or the most likely explanation is that the injury happened at the back of his head. And that gives you room to think that maybe he was attacked. In the best case scenario, let's say he was not attacked. He actually did that by himself. He was hitting the wall with the back of his head constantly. In that case, the state is still responsible for by omission, because he was there to, in that solitary confinement situation, to be protected. They were supposed to take care of him, to prevent any type of harm, to prevent any type of attack, any type of suicide attempt. So they were not doing their job as usual here in this case, just being incompetent, being fishy. So that's bad. Now, let me play another short video here, guys. How dangerous is an impact inflicted in your head, especially if you are hitting your head against a wall, if that was the case. Let's see what happened to this basketball player. It's gonna take maybe 1 minute max. In an act of rage, he hit his head against the pole of the basket area, let's say, and it was not even concrete. It was like a soft surface, and because of that, he is paraplegic today. It's just to, I like to show some visuals to try to explain the context of the situations here. So it's gonna take maybe 2 minutes max. I think it's in a Russian language, so don't pay attention to the language. Just try to see the visuals. The basketball player is gonna be enraged. He's gonna hit the pole of the basket area, and because of that, he's today paraplegic.
50-56 λοιπόν, συγκλονιστική εξέλιξη του αγώνα, με τον Πανιόνιο να καλύπτει τη διαφορά ακόμα και 17 πόντων που είχε πάρει ο Παναθηναϊκός στις αρχές της επανάληψης. Το Γκάλι να δίνει τις λύσεις και τις απαντήσεις έξω από τα 6-25 για την ομάδα του. Ο Γιάνκοβιτς, επιθετικό φάουλ πέμπτο. Ο Γιάνκοβιτς, διαμαρτυρόμενος, πήγε και χτύπησε το κεφάλι του στην μπασκέτα και έπεσε στον αγωνιστικό χώρο. Έχει γεμίσει με αίματα στο κεφάλι ο Σέρβος. Ο Παπαγιάνκοβιτς, μια αντίδραση που έχει γεμίσει αίματα το παρκέ. Μια αντίδραση του Γιάνκοβιτς εκνευρισμού της στιγμής, χτύπησε το κεφάλι του πάνω στη βάση του καλαθιού και τώρα
Anyways, that was the idea. He became paraplegic after hitting his head against a pole and it was a soft surface. So now we're talking about Richard Allen hitting a hard uh, surface. Now I want to. We were talking about the incompetence of the states to protect Richard Allen, and all type of speculations, guys, come to my mind. Uh, I don't know if they wanted to end him there just by injuring himself or by attacking Richard Allen by external people. But what we know is that in the Richard Allen's case, there are two major uh, sad elements. He was convicted because of the bullet situation. That was the only way to connect Richard Allen to the crime scene, and we know that that was a really fishy strategy. To me, we are talking about comparing apples with oranges. When we compare the spent round and the unspent round, we were comparing stuff that is totally different. And even the jurors, when we were listening to one of the jurors talking about the bullet, they said that the bullet was not something relevant for them to have the guilty verdict. So even the jurors, they didn't buy the bullet stuff. I think that the defense attorneys, they did a very good job when challenging that bullet situation, because we have the testimony of one of the jurors, and they said the bullet stuff was not a factor for the conviction. What was the factor? The major factor was the confession of Richard Allen. And when we talk about the confession, we have to talk about Westville. We have to talk about the conditions that were applied to Richard Allen in the Westville Correctional Facility. One of those conditions, or one of those situations, one of those events that explain how problematic was his situation in Westville is what we are talking today. The injury he had in his head that led to the raccoon eyes and that shocking picture that was released maybe 2 days ago. Okay, so when we talk about that, we talk about safekeeping, we talk about solitary confinement, and that's what I want to present in the next clip. It's not going to be very long, and this is an expert talking about how dangerous is to put someone with mental problems, with let's say depression or mental conditions, in a solitary confinement environment. So I think this clip is relevant for the discussion we are having today. So let me play it, guys, and then I'm gonna come back to the chat to see what are your opinions and to talk a little bit about with you guys.
The artery that lies across this area.
Is that prolonged solitary confinement is not acceptable, is not a standard, and that it should not be over 15 days. And it shouldn't be used for juveniles, and it shouldn't be used for the mentally ill at all, not even a few days. Solitary confinement, you're in a cell 22, 23 hours a day. I recently discovered in a number of states on the weekend, you're actually in the cell round the clock for the whole weekend. You don't come out for meals. You have a slot in the door where your meals are given to you. There's often very little that's in your cell. Some states only allow you one book. Some allow a bookshelf worth of things. Some states, no TV, no radio. Other states, all right. Many states restrict the number of visitors, the lack of any kind of human contact, even when you have those visits. You're typically allowed out for 1 hour a day of exercise, which some people say is kind of in a dog exercise yard, because it's a kind of pen that's attached to the prison. If you want to do your exercise for an hour, that means you probably don't have time for a telephone call or to take a shower. And you are literally kept in isolation, prolonged isolation from any human contact. Psychologists and other doctors who've studied this say that people decompose, they lose their mind. They begin, for example, if they've been so isolated for so long, then they're in human contact, suddenly there can be the stimulation of just a fly in the room, and they'll be staring and looking at that fly and can't concentrate because they're overstimulated by that. In some solitary confinement, the lights are kept on all the time. People can be, a number in the South don't have any air conditioning. So we've had a number of deaths in people in solitary and non-solitary because of the excessive heat. It's a unimaginable way of keeping people, and it's extraordinary. And when I tell people this, people think I'm making it up. And the fact that we have tens of thousands of people at any one moment who are in this existence, and we've had some people who have spent literally decades in this existence in the United States. So often when we talk about prisons and jails, we talk about the numbers, how many people in prison or how many people in jail. What we overlook is that we have some of the most degrading, dehumanizing prisons and jails in any developed country. The data that I have put together, I would say, based on recent reports, we have about 89,000 to 120,000 people at any one time in solitary confinement. Recent report that came out from the Bureau of Justice Statistics says within the last year, about 18 to 20% of the people in jail or prison have experienced solitary confinement at some point. So a much higher portion of people is actually going through that, even though at any one time, it may be like between 3% and 14% of the state prison population. But many more people are being affected by it. To put some context into that, the UN rapporteur several years ago said anything more than 15 days in isolation is considered torture. And the UN is expected any day now to approve the new standard rules for the minimum treatment of prisoners, which haven't been revised in almost half a century. And they're going to be renamed the Mandela Rules. And one of the rules that the UN General Assembly is expected to approve is that prolonged solitary confinement is not acceptable, is not a standard, and that it should not be over 15 days. And it shouldn't be used for juveniles, and it shouldn't be used for the mentally ill at all, not even a few days.
World, it's for still.
So I think that was interesting. She said that more than 15 days under solitary confinement is called a torture. Guys, I put my ventilator here because it's too hot. Let me know if the ventilator is affecting the sound here, because I really need some air. So just let me know if you can hear me well. So I'm just gonna wait for the first comment confirming if I still sound good before continuing. So please, guys, in the chat, let me know if sound is great. Okay, so the ventilator is gonna continue. So let me go to the chat for a while. Let's see, what are you talking about here, guys? And okay. I didn't say you won't see me. You won't see me from Canada, but you're gonna see me from Colombia for sure. And by the way, I'm gonna go to the museum of Pablo Escobar. We're gonna do a mini documentary, guys. It's gonna be cool, so stay with me. Joshua, again, you have to give us a notice, a short notice at least, before disappearing, okay? Mar again, hello. Free Ricky Bay, how are you? Happy to have you here. Yeah, don't disappear like that. Did you see this Anthony Grino headline, by the way? What happened? No, I don't know. What did he say, or what did he post? I don't know. I really don't know anything about Greeno since a while. He's still doing content. I don't know. At one point, I blocked or I unsubscribed from Gray Hughes, so I don't see anything that he makes because I don't like his energy. So maybe I did the same with Greeno. Maybe I'm subscribed, so I don't see anything popping in my channel from them. Yeah, tell us more. Rukus. He was under 24-hour video and audio surveillance. It should be easy to prove one way or another. Yeah, I would like to have that video, but without having it, there's a lot of room for speculation based on the behavior of law enforcement here in this case. And even when we have the video, we don't have the whole story, because remember that when we were watching the interview of Richard Allen, there are a lot of cuts in that interview, black cuts, and we are not talking about seconds. We are talking about even minutes. So we don't know the whole story, even if we have video material. So yeah, I understand your point, Rukus, but it's not enough. Sadly, it's not enough, and especially in this case. And you know, guys, when we watch the interrogation of Richard Allen, there are a lot of cuts. And I remember I was doing a live with Fishy and with Curious Contrarian. One day, we were talking about we were watching the interview of Richard Allen, and we were, hey, stop, what is that black cut? Then another black cut, then another black cut. There were a lot of black cuts in that video. We don't know what happened there. So even if you show me a video of Richard Allen in his cell praying 24 hours per day, I don't know what happened when we are gonna have black cuts. I think you understand my point, Rukus. RC99, I can't do it justice, but he got arrested along with the former editor of the Carroll County Comet. Ah, really? He got arrested? Greeno? Uh-oh. Well, this is kind of a habitus. Sleuth Investigates. Oh, Tatiana is here. How are you, Tatiana? Afternoon. So it's already the afternoon in your city? Beautiful people. I must lurk while adulting. Just wanted to say hi and send love all around. Thank you so much for showing up. By the way, guys, hit the like. And if you can, after ending this live, if you can put any comment, a smiley face, anything, it's gonna shake the algorithm. So if you can help me with that, it's gonna be appreciated. Any comment, just a smiley face is gonna be enough if you don't have anything else to say. So do that for your host, Criptex, who is in Criptex land right now. RC99, this woman called the cops or her own dealer, Greeno, while he was crashed out at his house. Okay, now I'm interested. We're gonna look for that later. Shay, starts to sound like attempted murder. Look, seriously, it's not impossible. I know it's far-fetched, but I will still considering that situation. It's very fishy. It's very fishy. We don't see any injury in his face, and we have the raccoon eyes. So something happened to him. Maybe he was hit at the back of his head. How? According to Rukus, we have 24 hours video surveillance, but we know that we have black cuts in those videos. So yeah, call me sensationalist, call me conspiracy theorist, but I will keep that possibility in the bucket of possibilities. Yes, they are. They are. Fact. Sleuth Investigates. They wanted him to confess better and plea out. Yeah, those guys are really dirt. And Liggett lying about going to visit Richard Allen. Then we have Holman confirming that they went with Liggett to visit Richard Allen. So those guys are liars, are pieces of shit, and that's why we are pissed. And regardless of the actual situation here, if he is guilty, if he's partially guilty, if he is innocent, he didn't have a fair process, and because of that, the whole outcome here is questionable. How long after injuries was the photo taken? Contract hope, brain trauma is nothing to sneer at. Yeah, I don't know how long, and how do we know if that didn't happen before, or if that didn't happen after? Multiple times. It was an isolated event, or was that something that was actually repetitive? I don't know. An issue with my cursor here. It's sickening. It's a shocking picture. It's a shocking photo. Kelly, in my opinion, he was not supposed to make it to trial. Yeah, they needed to break Richard Allen to obtain those confessions. Otherwise, the verdict would be not guilty, 100%. And again, remember the juror saying the bullet was not a factor for his conviction. The conviction was mostly based on the confessions, which we know were questionable. But this is what it is. An addicted co-conspirator. Who else in here has had more than one concussion other than me? I had a very bad concussion when I was young. I was playing soccer on the street here in Medellin. I fell and my nose was broken, but bad. I remember I had a white t-shirt, and because of the blood, the t-shirt was red. So we went to the hospital. They operated me. It was horrible. After the operation is the worst because you cannot breathe. My nose was like that. I had a lot of stuff inside the nose to prevent my nose from bleeding. Horrible. And when I woke up from the anesthesia, oh my God, I almost had a heart attack. Is there because your natural reflex is to breathe using your nose, of course. So you are not prepared to wake up and, oh fuck, I cannot breathe. What's happening? So when you realize that you have to breathe using your mouth, you are under panic attack. Give me 1 second, guys. Hey, La Torre. Venga, hermano. Venga. Salude, hermano. Okay. Salude. Venga, salude. My good friend is going to say hello to Criptex Land. Say hello to Criptex Land from Medellin.
Hi everybody.
He's the best. He's the number one. I'm in his room. So
my name is Juan. I'm a journalist here in Medellin, Colombia. My English is not good, but I try to talk with you in English. Hi everybody. Nice to meet you.
So guys, this is family here. So happy to be with you. We are talking about the case of Richard Allen in the Delphi's crime case of in Indiana, in Delphi, Indiana. You are an expert. He's a subject matter expert.
Okay,
so
bye-bye.
He wanted to say hello to you guys. So continuing here, so that was to have a beer. So that was my strategy. Shay Watson, they never mentioned his other confessions of murder. Why do you? He's the best. I have my beer here, guys. Excellent. 10 puntos, 5 palmaditas en la espalda. So this is an excellent beer, guys. It's called Club Colombia. We say Club Colombia here in Medellin. It's so good. Oh my God. So cheers to you guys. So Shay, they never mentioned his other confessions of murder. Why do you suppose that was eliminated? Yeah, great point. Let me scroll down here, guys. it's hard to explain how they affect you if you haven't had the experience. Did you have a lot of facial swelling? I did with the second one. Yeah. Yeah, I understand, of course. You have to suffer that type of confusion to try to understand the consequences. So Grino was arrested in Indiana. And again, to me, Grino is someone fishy here in this case. I wouldn't eliminate Anthony Grino as a potential actor somehow here, for real. Shay Watson, I just exhibited one dilated pupil, but was off balance for several days, like it affected my inner ear. Shay, so they medicated him for mental illness, then tortured it with solitary confinement. Yeah, we're going to continue with some clips about solitary confinement. Some people who were under solitary confinement for a long of time. The woman we were listening to a couple of minutes before, she said that after 15 days, that situation is considered a torture. And he was there for more than 1 year, so that's crazy. Windy weather. If his confessions had been real, then they would have had him put it all together legally and even probably try to offer a plea deal. Yeah, good point. No, thank you for being here, Monday. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah, exactly. 395 days is a little bit more than 15 days. But those guys are so incompetent, but that maybe they don't know the difference. I'm just trying to be nice with them because it's not about incompetence, it's about corruption. Rick hadn't been convicted, and they did this to exactly. He was not even convicted. He was not even convicted. He was not even. Oh my God! Yeah, it's not. It's just unacceptable, and that shit could happen to you guys. That's why it's not acceptable. This type of situations cannot be acceptable. The system is a failure. The system is a failure. Sleuth investigates. I'm reading through the new exhibits. It's interesting. Matt Hodman visited Rick in Westville, and Rick kept asking if his wife and family were safe. Of course. He was isolated from his family. He was isolated from his attorneys. He had 1 hour to take a walk under those devices. And if he decided to use the free hour he had to take a walk, he couldn't call his family. He couldn't take a shower. And we know that there's also a very shocking picture where he is not under very hygienic conditions. Why? Because, yeah, solitary confinement, that they were trying to break him. And I think he became crazy. I'm going to become crazy after 2 days in that type of situation. Hello, Fishy. How are you? So happy to have you here again. It's long time no see. It's so cool to have you. I hope you're going to show up more frequently. Maybe you are very busy, so I don't know. But it's always good to have you here, and maybe we can do something together soon if you are up to that. Now that we have a lot of new exhibits being released. Sleuth investigates. A lot of stuff was accidentally deleted or recorded over. That's convenient. Tatiana is from Portugal. Cool. Where are you from? Porto? I love Porto wine. It's the favorite wine. Oh, man, so cool. Or from Lisboa. I would like to go to Portugal. It's like a safe place. It's very famous because of the case of Madeleine McCain. Maybe I guess you are an expert in that case. We can do something together about the Madeleine McCain's case, Tatiana. I didn't know you were from Portugal. Cool to have you here. She Books, the Terminator girl, is here on the floor in the house. How are you? She Books. Delphi really doesn't fuck with use. Yeah, we have to dig into the greenhouse situation. She Books. I promise you the conviction was based on his voice sounding similar to the video. They requested to see the video and get the audio right before the verdict. Yeah. How bad is that, huh? The audio. Seriously? The voice? Come on. She Books. So that's why Criptex walls are so blue. He lives in a safari. Yeah. I'm in the safari territory right now, today. Yeah. The birds are crazy because they love my sister, but my sister is not here. So like, I guess they are calling her. I don't know. Yeah, my accident was bad. It was really bad. Anyways, who's doing a great job? Criptex or someone in the chat? Purple Amaryllis, happy to have you here. Your English sounds great. Yeah, I'm gonna tell him. Yeah, he's good. Juan, hey, La Torre. Dicen que hablas mejor español mejor inglés que ellos. Sí, que hablas mejor inglés que ellos. Now he's happy because, yeah, look, Slux Investigate is saying, hey, Juan, you speak better English than me.
I wish. I try. I studied here many years ago, but my problem is we don't need to talk with another person to practice. But okay, I try. Thank you very much for your words.
Very nice, huh?
Yeah.
Very nice of him. Thank you guys for the words. He's really happy right now because of that. Shay Watson, but they also never mentioned to anyone that the audio was altered. Good point. Trying to clean it up. I bet no one has even heard an untouched version. Yeah, this is a very good comment, and we know that Keegan Klein's voice sounds like the BG audio. Ron Logan's voice sounds like BG. Richard Allen's voice sounds like BG. So we cannot conclude. They couldn't conclude, but yeah, that was a dirty strategy. Anyways, She Books. Yeah. Cheers. Again. Colombia, Club Colombia. And I bought the t-shirt here of my team here in Colombia. It's a soccer team called Atlético Nacional. So I'm so happy. Because of that, I feel home. Happy to be with my parents. Your English is way better than my Spanish. Yeah, he's happy now. Okay, let me scroll down a bit here, guys. Critical thinker. I'm curious if your opinion about Rick has changed since all of the documents have dropped. A bit. I'm moving a little bit more to be on the fence, but I still think that he is involved. I think so. I don't know what is the extent of his involvement. I don't have any proof. It's just again, the way I connect the dots. It's the Wabash River situation that is not still clear for me, and other stuff. But anyways, again, I always said I would vote not guilty because there's a lot of reasonable doubt. One thing is what I believe. Another thing is what you can demonstrate. And to me, the state, they didn't prove their theory at all. Oh, Keith is here. How are you, man? I love your posts in X. No, you are Fishy. Fishy is the best, 100%. Andre, just want to thank you, Criptex, for keeping on talking about the case for justice and whatever that means for all involved. Thank you so much. So, Keith, both Ned Smith and Rod Abrams could pass as BG. I want to hear their voices, and I'm still trying to get documents on Rod attempting to use a knife on someone in. But you know, even if they sound like him, to me, it's nothing, because the same shit is applicable to Richard Allen, the same shit is applicable to Keegan Klein, the same shit is applicable to Ron Logan. So the voice similarities, it's just very subjective. It's very subjective. I don't think Elvis' voice sounds like BG. I agree with you, 100%. But Elvis Fields could be one of the guys at the other side of the bridge. I think they were the Climbs, you know my theory, but I wouldn't discard the possibility of Elvis being the one there. There's a clip he made on Facebook talking about Stones. It's in X also. I think it was maybe Keith who put that video. Anyways, so let me come back to the clips I wanted to show today about solitary confinement. I think there are very cool information here. So to understand the situation of Richard Allen, it's in X, one of our contacts. I'm gonna send you the link, Shibooks, no worries. So I'm gonna come back to the video here.
4 concrete walls and a solid steel door.
This man spent more than a year in solitary confinement when he was doing time for armed robbery.
You give up hope, you start imagining things, illusions of grandeur. You escape reality.
We're protecting his identity because it could affect his job. He's been out of prison for years now, but his time in solitary has had a lasting effect.
I think that there's some serious psychological damage that can happen in extensive stays in solitary confinement.
The United Nations agrees. It says solitary confinement longer than 15 days amounts to torture. And although the use of segregation in Canadian prisons has declined nearly 20% over 2 years, it's still regularly used, but not uniformly across the country. Take Donnacona in Quebec, a maximum security prison. Inmates there are admitted to segregation 3 times as often as inmates at another maximum security prison, the Edmonton Institution in Alberta. So why such a variation? In part, it's because there are 2 types of segregation. Disciplinary segregation has oversight and can only last a maximum of 30 days. But administrative segregation has no time limit, and individual wardens decide who goes in and for how long. Critics want that to change.
It's problematic that it's local factors rather than legal rules that governs the use of this very severe practice.
Watchdogs want to amend the legislation and add oversight and time limits to administrative segregation. And they want to make sure it also isn't being used to deal with inmates with mental illness.
Far too often, for example, we see individuals who are being segregated really not for any of the reasons that are prescribed in law, but really just because they're difficult to manage in the general population and staff need.
How is going to be Richard Allen someone difficult to manage? Someone of his height. So if that's one of the reasons to put Richard Allen in solitary confinement, because he's a dangerous individual, hard to manage, come on.
A bit of a break.
What they call safekeeping.
The evidence is clear that isolation is toxic to the mentally ill. So somebody who's mentally ill and is sent to the prison because the jail can't handle them or for whatever reason, and ends up in isolation, as is the policy for the Department of Corrections, they're going to get worse. It just is. It's so obvious that they're going to get.
In one day, within hours of each other, 2 inmates at the same New Mexico prison were found hanging in their solitary confinement cells. Officials at this point believe they're both suicides. 4 investigator Chris Ramirez has discovered at least one of these deaths may have been prevented.
Sunday, December 2nd, turned out to be a deadly day at the Central New Mexico Correctional Facility in Los Lunas. Keith Casarag was found hanging in his cell at 9:53 in the morning. Adonis Asinias was found hanging in his cell about 4 hours later at 2:12 in the afternoon. Both were in solitary confinement, but in different pods. Matt Coit is an attorney who has sued New Mexico jails and prisons, but neither Casarag or Asinias were his clients.
Well, 2 inmates committing suicide in solitary cells in the same facility on the same day is a stark example of the toxic effects that solitary confinement has on people in isolation, most particularly the mentally ill. And I think there's some evidence of one of them, at least one of them, was severely mentally ill.
Online court documents show Keith Casarag was ordered psychiatric evaluations, and his mental competency to stand trial was questioned. This death could have been prevented. During the past legislative session, lawmakers passed a bill that would have made it illegal for anyone to be placed in solitary confinement who has mental health problems, any pregnant women or any children. However, Governor Susana Martinez vetoed that bill.
It's so disappointing that the governor vetoed that bill, because this is exactly the people, or these are the exact people we're trying to protect with that bill. Seriously mentally ill people in isolation.
To make matters more dire, Casarag hadn't even been convicted of a crime. Casarag was charged with the nonviolent crime of criminal damage to property in Tucumcari, but the county transferred him over to a state prison for what they call safekeeping.
The evidence is clear that isolation is toxic to the mentally ill. So somebody who's mentally ill and is sent to the prison because the jail can't handle them or for whatever reason, and ends up in isolation, as is the policy for the Department of Corrections, they're going to get worse. It just is. It's so obvious that they're going to get worse.
As for Encinias, the state prison system says he had a medical problem that required him to be in segregation, but couldn't say more due to federal patient privacy laws. We reached out to the Corrections Department for comment, and they sent us a statement that reads, in part, "We are saddened by these deaths and send our deepest condolences to the families of Mr. Encinias and Mr. Casarag." Chris Ramirez, 4 Investigates.
I've seen guys resort to cutting themselves.
So another example of people that were put into that solitary confinement environment to protect them. That was the excuse, that was the pretext. And they didn't do anything to protect those guys. They committed suicide. So is that the reason Richard Allen was put in that solitary confinement environment in Westville, expecting to have a suicide event, or just to make him crazy, to obtain some questionable confessions? That's a good question, because at least in the wall hitting event with his own head, they didn't do anything to prevent the damage. So it's just bullshit. We know that. We know why he was put in Westville. Clearly. It was the only way to have a guilt verdict. The only way to obtain those confessions. So, questionable situation.
Killing themselves, you know?
This surveillance footage shows what these men are capable of if they get loose.
There's a choreography. Inmates get an hour a day outside of their cell. Being walked back to your cell by 2 guards is probably the only human contact you get all day.
80,000 people locked up in solitary confinement in America. You're about to meet a prison official who wants to experience it firsthand. He's embarking on a radical, risky experiment, entering level 6 solitary confinement himself, undercover.
You are looking at prisoner 106, on the books as a dangerous armed robber. He is preparing to enter what many call hell on earth. Solitary confinement. Before you meet its residents, just listen to them.
This is prison. You know what I mean? We're not here for being nice.
I've seen guys resort to cutting themselves and killing themselves, you know?
As prisoner 106 is moved into the unit,
I don't know that I have ever felt as vulnerable as I do right now.
the thing almost nobody here knows is that this inmate is actually the Secretary of Corrections for the state of New Mexico, Greg Marcantel, a former cop who spent a career putting away bad guys. He's now going to try to spend 48 hours living among the worst of the worst. This surveillance footage shows what these men are capable of if they get loose.
This is a public safety issue.
So why is the secretary willing to put himself through this? He's decided he wants to reform the state's use of solitary because most of these inmates will end up right back on our streets.
We're sending people back to our neighborhoods worse than when they came.
As the clock starts running on his 48-hour lockdown, the secretary settles into his 12-by-7 concrete cell. Level 6 is divided up into 3 separate units, housing a total of 282 inmates. In here for crimes ranging from rape to armed robbery to murder. Combined, these men have killed 138 people. In cell 111 is Freddie Munoz.
This is my home right here. For good or bad, this is it.
Growing up, Munoz wanted to be an astronaut, but at age 13, he got caught up in gangs.
How many murders did you commit? 2 murders.
Because of his violent past and his gang affiliation, prison officials have kept him in a cell like this every day for the past 10 years. These 4 walls are all he's got. He knows every crack, every inch of peeling paint.
What does that do to your head?
It is perpetual misery. It's ennui, it's monotony, it's repetition.
He says the only way to keep it together in here is to establish a strict routine, a sort of imitation of life.
I exercise, I read a lot. If I didn't have books, I probably would have already gone insane.
A few cells away, Daniel Herrera. He's also in solitary because of his gang affiliation. He's 23 years old and serving a sentence for kidnapping.
This is where we live. I mean, right here you can see the width of our rooms.
At our request, he shows us one of the tricks of solitary. This is called fishing.
A fishing line to communicate with neighbors and stuff like that. You send it to your neighbor. So that's how we fish.
That fishing game is something like the statement that was made by Noe when he was talking about the time he was incarcerated with Keegan Klein, that they had some type of game using papers to communicate between them. So it was interesting to see that type of fishing game here. Let's continue.
And get things from one cell to another in here without getting caught or getting in trouble.
Back in Secretary Marcantel's cell, 9 hours in, he brushes his teeth and gets ready for a long night in a strange and hidden world. Officer Joseph Vishaway makes his morning rounds. It's chow time.
No, sir. Give some jelly.
When collecting the food trays, Officer Vishaway makes sure nobody has broken off a piece of plastic which could be used to create a weapon.
Is this a dangerous job?
It takes a certain type of person to do it. We're working inside the lion's cage with the lion.
To keep themselves safe, the officers follow rigid protocols. For example, there's a strip search for weapons or contraband every time they take an inmate out to the yard, which is known as the rec cage.
Locked down 23 hours a day, sitting reminiscing on how my life was stripped away.
And coming back is equally coordinated.
Just bringing this inmate from the rec pen into his unit, there's a choreography. Inmates get an hour a day outside their cell. Being walked back to your cell by 2 guards is probably the only human contact you get all day.
It's 24 hours into his stay, and the confinement is starting to get to the secretary. He's trying to pass the time by working out, but there's only so much of that you can do. Claustrophobia is setting in.
I felt like the cell was kind of squeezing down on me.
He is getting a taste of why this form of punishment has become so controversial. Not only can it be 3 times as expensive as regular incarceration, but critics call it legalized torture. We are social animals. We're built for interaction. Take that away, and critics say inmates can literally lose their minds. But many corrections officials say it's a necessary tool to control a dangerous population. As a prime example, they point to an inmate like Nathaniel Stein.
I don't think I've ever interviewed somebody before who's being restrained by 2 officers. Would you consider yourself a dangerous man?
No.
However, he is in solitary for viciously attacking a corrections officer.
Why did you do that?
That's a tough question. It's just a situation. I don't know why.
I do notice that when you are fessing up to something, you do smile.
I don't know why I do that.
The signal to me is that you don't feel badly about it.
Do I feel bad for the things I don't really feel bad for the things I've done. You know what I mean?
On the flip side, there are inmates like Freddie Munoz, who, despite the severity of his crimes, has been a model inmate and renounced his gang affiliation. Munoz is now one of a select few handpicked to move out of solitary and into the general population of the prison as part of the secretary's plan to reduce the population in solitary.
To be able to go outside without being handcuffed and restrained every day, I think that would be very good for me.
It's the final morning for this undercover boss. Finally, the moment he's been waiting for. Release. After 48 hours on the inside, he's concluded solitary should be used, but sparingly and only for the most dangerous.
You're going to have people who say any more than 30 days is torture. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. There is a such thing as evil. And it's up to me to make sure that not only am I protecting other inmates from them, but I'm also protecting my staff from them.
Days later,
imagine the state protecting the other inmates from Richard Allen. How funny is that, huh? The other inmates being protected from Richard Allen by having him in solitary confinement. That is a great joke. It's perfect for an artificial intelligence video that is coming soon.
Freddie Munoz, Daniel Herrera, and 6 other inmates are brought out of level 6 solitary in preparation for an eventual return to the general prison population. Here, for the first time in years, they'll actually be able to sit next to one another and have real human contact.
How does it feel?
It's good.
Sitting next to each other.
It's great. Good. This is living right here, finally.
These men, part of an experiment and part of a trend as New Mexico and the nation take its first steps away from this costly, controversial form of punishment. For Nightline, this is Dan Harris in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
So those were the clips I wanted to play today in the context of the situation that happened to Richard Allen when he was hitting the wall of his cell. I don't know, what do you think about these guys? Let me know in the comment section. I'm gonna drop the link and I'm gonna wait for a couple of minutes if someone wants to call. If not, I think it's gonna be all for today. Let me know what type of exhibits are you following right now, the new exhibits that were released. I didn't have too much time to explore those exhibits. Let me know what is interesting there. I know that I read the interview that they made to Kathy Allen. What do you think about that interview? To me, she was being honest about the whole situation. I didn't see any sign of deception in that interview. Again, to me, Cathy Allen is another victim here in this case. And the people like trashing Cathy are trash people, in my opinion. I can understand somehow, in some way, people being nasty against Richard Allen, let's say, but against Cathy, come on, you have to be a piece of shit, like Holman, when he was talking to Richard Allen, he said, your fucking wife. So disrespectful. That guy makes me mad. And Ali said, more and more notorious inmates are kept in basic solitary, 23 hours locked in, 1 hour out with choice of shower or exercise. Exactly. Many people are kept this way all the time. Yeah, this is torture. The picture of Richard Allen, and I know some people are gonna make fun of this, but it's like a Guantanamo situation. It's a Guantanamo photo, a Guantanamo picture. The same thing is shocking. It's disgusting. And I'm sure that a lot of people are saying, well deserved it. Happy for seeing you in that condition. It's really bad. It's really sad. Shay, what if right after they locked the Arden up, somebody said, now we got you where we want you, and you are gonna be sorry. His 48 might have been a lot of different. Yeah, 100%. Sleuth investigates. The new exhibits show me more and more. There would have been reasonable doubt had Gall allowed the third-party suspects in. Which exhibits are you talking about specifically? That's gonna be a good idea for me to go into that and to make a streaming. I want to know what are you interested in, guys, and help me out here. You know much more than me. I'm just presenting some information and giving my opinions, but you are the real sleuths here. I just want to remember that I'm initiating a new concept. It's not that new because we already did a couple of games. I like to do something different here from time to time, tier lists, talking about movies, about astronomy, whatever. So the concept is gonna be true crime and chess, and I'm gonna do that with HCC. So we already had 2 games. We are even Steven, 2-2. But we are gonna do that frequently, like every 2 weeks. Maybe we are gonna have a new chess game this weekend. Actually, we are gonna talk about the West Memphis 3. So every time we do a chess game, we play chess. We are gonna talk about some true crime cases, and the first one is gonna be about the West Memphis 3. So since yesterday, I'm watching every type of documentary about the West Memphis 3, the pro or the guilting content creators, the content creators that think the West Memphis 3 are innocent. So anyways, that's the idea. So if you like that, be with us. We're gonna start doing that this weekend. HCC, a good friend of the channel. I know a lot of you love HCC though, so it's gonna be cool. I don't know, guys. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Shibooks. I tend to agree with you, but I understand some elements that point to Damien Eccles to be potentially guilty. So I'm not an expert in the case. Of course, I watched the documentaries that were made by HBO at the time, and it shows that they could be potentially innocent. Now they're free. Exactly, they're free. I know that. But legally, they are their status is guilty. They are guilty, but they were allowed to have their freedom. It was like a 50-50 business between the state and the defense. But anyways, I'm not an expert, so I'm trying to explore a little bit more about the case. So cool. Happy for that. Purple Amaryllis. I know it's not gonna be the most viewed channel chat live, but it's gonna be cool. And if you like chess, be with us. Happy that at least you're gonna be there. Sleuth investigation investigates. West Memphis 3 is a case that has had my heart since it happened. My uncle was a cop in Arkansas. He had to escort Jesse to his trial daily. Really? Oh, cool. Can you give me the contact of your uncle? I would like to have your uncle here in the channel. That would be a great document. Can you try to do something for me? Please, in the description of my channel, you have my email. So I really would like to do that. It would be great, for real. She-Books. The only thing they have on Damien is that they sent him to a mental hospital as a teenager. Yeah, that's correct. But I think he didn't have a very solid alibi either at the time of the murder, so I don't know. I tend to agree with you. I think they are innocent, but I'm trying to contemplate all the possibilities and all the opinions of other people based on the evidence for sure. RC99. I follow a couple of people who are big into satanic panic, who are convinced, but I don't think they did it. There's a very interesting theory. One law enforcement agent, he was explaining the possibility of a truck driver, because in the area where the guys were found, that area is really close. It's like a gas station where a lot of trucks park there. So it would be easy for some truck driver to commit that crime and to leave the scene. So I found that theory interesting. So I don't know. And again, there are a lot of similarities between that crime and Delphi, in my opinion. The area, like a wooden area, isolated area, a creek, but it's not exactly a creek, but like a mini lake, I don't know. More than one victim. Of course, there were multiple perpetrators, in my opinion. That's 100%. And I think in Delphi, it was the same. I don't know. A weak alibi, exactly. A weak alibi. Yeah, and I think the preliminary DNA testing excluded the 3 West Memphis guys. Is not consistent with their DNA. And also the other suspect, one of the stepfathers of one of the victims, I think he was excluded based on that DNA testing. The hair that was found on the shoe of one of the guys. I don't know. At 3 months, really? Oh, excited for that. Let's see. Thank you, She-Books, for the information. You are the one giving us breaking news here today. Maybe they probably are gonna have to do genetic genealogy, so it may take longer. Yeah, I know. Okay. I understand. Well, if he cannot do it, I don't know. Maybe if you know someone that is related to the case, if you can ask your uncle if he knows someone that would be like, I don't know, someone who would be like open to come here to talk about that, it would be awesome. So thank you anyways for trying, and the best for your uncle. I hope he's gonna recover. Purple Amaryllis. Don't forget all the black T-shirts he had. Yeah, this is fine. I dress in black almost all the time, so I guess that makes me a potential actor in any crime case, right? Annalise said, and I'm Colombian. Alford plea, yeah, exactly. Defendants admit the state has enough evidence to convict them, but otherwise they plead innocent. Thus innocent but guilty at the same time. Yeah, it's like you have to make that deal to be able to get your freedom. And one of the guys, Jesse, he didn't want to accept that deal, but he was thinking about Damien, who was the one convicted. He was the one getting the death sentence, and he said, I didn't want to accept this plea, but because my friend is going to be killed by the state, I'm gonna accept it. And Jesse, he participated in the movie. The movie was great. I loved it. The Devil's Knot with what's the name of this guy? The British guy. I really love that movie. It was really interesting. Of course, it was biased. It was like in favor of the West Memphis 3, in my opinion, but we know that the same investigation team was as incompetent as the Delphi's case. Another similarity, of course. It was the Bojangles guy. The Bojangles, you know why I don't think so? Because this crime had to be committed by multiple perpetrators. Again, 3 victims. How are you be able to control 3 guys? I don't think it was just one person. So I don't know, the Bojangles guys theory, I don't know. I would tend more like a couple of truck drivers, maybe 2 serial killers working together. I don't know. My guess so far, but again, I'm not an expert, so all opinions are welcome here, guys. A lot of people that testified lied on the stand. Vicky Hutchinson, yeah, talking about the witches parties in the woods, that Damien Eccles was a cult leader, something like that. Like Kelsey's hair, exactly. Yeah, another similarity, huh? Yeah. And West Memphis 3, John Bennett, and Delphi, She-Books. What is the common denominator? The Jerry Holman's guys leading the investigations there. Incompetent people. Incompetent law enforcement agents, for sure. Annalise said, mistakes in both Delphi and West Memphis 3 are labeling the crimes, exactly. Odinism in one, Satanism in the other. More likely, offenders committing crimes without a bigger plan. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, it's another similarity. It's Colombian with Colombian. Colombia is from Colombia in the United States. So shame on you, She-Books, but at the same time, you're the best because you're saying Colombians are the best. Oh, coffee. Oh, my God. My father is preparing a coffee for me every single day. It's just orgasmic. The coffee my father prepares, Colombian coffee from the best coffee producer in the world. We are really bad in a lot of things, but coffee, we are the best for sure. Why Jason hates Damien? Why? I didn't know about that. Drama queens everywhere. Drama queens. Talking about drama, the guy who has a name similar to Sleuth Investigates, he said that I'm a whore. I'm gonna play that short. Give me 1 second, guys, here. That I'm a whore for views. So let's spice the live today with a little bit of that situation, but I don't find it. Why? You should find it. It's in the short section. Sorry. So I'm a whore, according to this guy. So drama moment today. I'm a whore for a group of shitty subscribers. Let's play it again. Or not. What a jerk. Anyways, that is the drama moment of the show today. And just funny. That was the most inconsistent live ever. It was a drama show, calling names everyone, but anyways, just funny. She-Books, I'm Team Damien because Damien is the one who's been fighting to get the DNA retested from day one. Yeah. Sorry guys, I didn't put the volume, so let's repeat it. Because Mar, he couldn't hear it, so I'm gonna repeat it. Sorry for that. My bad. Shorts.
And you guys have never heard me call anybody specific a fucking idiot, right? I call you are a whore for a group of shitty subscribers. And you guys have never heard me call anybody specific a fucking idiot, right? I call you are a whore for a group of shitty subscribers.
Yeah. No more drama, guys. So let's continue here before ending the show tonight. The whore is gonna talk. Your favorite whore. What about cake? Café con leche. Oh, it's the best. Café con leche. My God, how do you know about that? How do you know about that? Hey, She-Books. You made it up. Exactly, Colombians. No problem. No problem. Yeah, Delphi and West Memphis 3, we have a lot of similarities, for sure. For sure. The defense attorney was friends with the Ramses. Oh. Coke. I understood cake. I understood cake, Mar. Sorry. Coke? No, I never did that here. Anytime. I don't know what is that for real. The only drug I tasted one time was cannabis. I was in an island here in Colombia, in San Andres. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we said, we are such a nerd. We are nerds. The only thing I do is alcohol. I drink beers, I drink wine, I like whiskey, but I never do weed or another drug at all. And we wanted to try cannabis. So there was like a Rasta guy walking on the arena, on the sand. He looked like, what's this guy from Jamaica? I forgot his name. I have a lapsus. What's the name of this guy? The Rastafarian guy, the reggae song guy from Jamaica. Bob Marley, come on. It was the clone of Bob Marley. And he was selling weed. So we said, let's buy a little bit of weed and let's try. What is going to be the sensation? We were curious. So we bought that. We went to the hotel. I think we smoked 2 kilos of weed. We didn't feel anything at all. anything, zero. So I was like disappointed because I was expecting to have some type of effect, but no. And that was the only time in my life I tried something. A couple of times I smoke normal cigarettes, but I don't like it. I really don't like the smell of cigarettes, so I don't do it. So anyways, long story short, that was the story. She books. Damien talked shit about Pam Habs, and Jason was disgusted by it. But honestly, Jason has resented Damien ever since he took the afford plea for Damien's sake. Jason is the one who has like mental problems. I'm not gonna use the R word, but he looks like a little bit slow. No, I don't know. Purple Amaryllis. More ritualistic evidence in Delphi case, though. Only element in West Memphis 3 was from animal predation. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. I already fixed it. Sorry for that. Shay. The Odinist theory was presented sideways, in my opinion. The fact was the guards were breaking serious policies by wearing patches with the blessing of the warden. 100%. Yeah, I did the rewind. Sorry, guys, again. Sleuth investigates. I feel Jason is resentful towards Damien because he's always had good attorneys and Lori has always fought for the truth. Jason doesn't have the same support. And maybe it's because of his mental condition, I guess. Let's be honest here, guys. Damien Eccles, he has something. He has some type of charisma. He's handsome. He's cool. And that, I don't know, is placing in his favor. You know what I mean? And Jason, he doesn't have that. I'm not saying it's the good thing, but I think it's something that we can put on the balance. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah, he was. My God. He has such a double standard. He's the double standard creator. Anyways, thank you, King Creep. Your character is top notch. What is King Creep? King Creep is a singer, right? I think a singer. No. Well, that was a very good document, for real. The interview with Patrick Westball. Good things, we have to give him credit, but usually just a jerk. I swear I have no affiliation, but your avatar is similar. Your name is similar, so oh, what can we do? Yeah, I said cake. I said cake. Oh my God! Come on, guys. You don't like Prince, or you're obsessed? Yeah, he's from my friend here. Coca-Cola, Purple Rain. Yes, he's a DJ, so he loves music. He has like a mini studio here. He makes podcasts, so he's really good, and he has exactly Bob Marley. Oh my God. Yeah. No, but yeah, I was exaggerating, of course, but it was a lot that it didn't work. Cali with, but I'm in Colombia. I don't know. I'm supposed to find the best stuff here, and I don't know. Thank you, Joshua. Happy to have you here. I'm just finishing. So, guys, I think I'm gonna stop for tonight. Thank you for being here again. Please hit the like, and again, please, guys, put some comment in the comment section, even if it's just a smiley face. That's gonna shake the algorithm. It was really cool to have you here, guys. Sleuth investigates. Please try to try to help me with your contact. And stay in touch, guys. See you. Thank you so much for joining me today. See you tomorrow.